Hi everyone, this is Lisa Hendricks from parkbench.com, the community website that I sponsor, and today I have the great honor of interviewing Tim Frankenberg. And July 3rd of this year, Tim became Washington's new fire chief, so I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
We feel like we're in very good hands.
Thank you.
Tim and I have known each other for a few years. Our kids played baseball on the same team. So Tim, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the fire department?
Sure. I start off actually, I'm a third generation firefighter.
Nice.
My grandfather was part of the old Goosetown Fire Department on the east end of town. Anything east of 47 was called Goosetown. He was part of that department then, that merged into the fire department. My father's 45, 46 years with the department now. So I kind of got brought into it as a kid. I had 4 uncles in the department as well. So it was always in the family. I got hooked when I was about 5 years old. Joined the Explorer Post when I was 14, I believe, and joined the fire department when I was 18. Went away to school for a few years, got my degree in fire protection engineering, and then made captain. Was captain for 10 years and deputy chief for 8, and now chief.
So what made you want to be chief? It's a lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility. It seemed like a natural progression. I took the deputy's job. Chief Halmick had done a phenomenal job laying a foundation. The chief before him and the officers as a whole have done a great job laying a great foundation. So we're just continuing that, moving that forward. Somebody needed to take over for Bill. He's in his early 70s now, and he was ready to move on. So I took over for Bill.
So you really made that decision at a young age, didn't you? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. There's as the story goes. I believe it was a water main break, but I remember it was a fall of the year, and we were sweeping up around the firehouse. I was just sweeping leaves out of the firehouse. No big thing. Just a little kid sweeping leaves. And fire chief then, Bill was chief, and he says, very impressed with the work, says, hey, I'll buy you a soda. I'll have a Dr. Pepper. So he bought me a soda, and he looks at me, he says, so what do you want to do when you get older? I said, well, what do you do? And he says, well, I'm the fire chief. I said, well, I want your job. And so fast forward 18 years or
That's
so,
so
28 years, I guess it is, and then here we are.
That's funny. So something a lot of people don't know is that the fire department is a volunteer organization. Can you tell us about that? Sure.
We're all volunteer. We've been that way since 1852 when we originated. Presently, we have about 70 members that are volunteers. Since 1991, everyone has been a state certified firefighter. So we put them through some consistent training. But we recruit out of the Washington area. So it's not just the city limits of Washington. There's about 10 square miles to the city. We actually serve an area of 65 square miles. Okay. And so we recruit out of that entire area, and they're assigned to different crews based on geography. For the most part, we move them around a little bit, but by and large, we recruit out of the Washington area, and our volunteers all serve. They all have a full-time occupation. I am actually a fire protection engineer. I work for Ameren, and I do all their non-nuclear fire protection engineering for the corporation. So that's my full-time job, is working for them, as well as we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have nurse assistants, we have full-time firefighters, factory workers, all walks of life, which is really a good benefit for us, because if we need somebody to build something for carpentry, we got a group of guys that can do carpentry. We got electricians that can do wiring. We have tool and die makers that can work on that kind of stuff. So that's actually one of our big strengths, is our diversity of what our people are.
And there must be a cost savings to the city.
Roughly, salary-wise, for a department our size, for what we provide, there's anywhere from $2 to $4 million of cost savings annually that we save the city from a response perspective. If they had to supply paid career firefighters, there would be somewhere in that vicinity of what the salaries, et cetera, would be to provide the same level, a level of service. I don't necessarily know if it'd be the same level of service, but a level of service.
Well, thank you to you and all of those 70 people. That's incredible.
There's a great group of folks there.
Yes, it sounds like it. So what we're going to do now is going to be fun. Tim's going to take us out and look at some of the equipment that they actually operate here, and he'll explain their usages. So we'll see you in a bit.
Hi, now we're out in the apparatus bay of our headquarters building on 14th Street. This is one of 3 fire stations in the city. We do not have a Station 2 presently. We get that asked a lot. We don't have a Station 2. Station 3 is out on the west end of 5th Street. Station 4 is on 8th Street on the east end, actually in the old Goose Town. And then the Fire Protection District has Station 5 in Crockville. We do have a training center with a truck out off of Fall Spring Drive, Motorcycle Camp on our training center. So it's a spare truck or reserve. So if this one were to be out of service for mechanical problems, we can bring that truck in as a spare. Behind us is the workhorse of the fire service. It's an engine, pumpers, and when people think of fire trucks, this is what people typically think of, but it's a fire engine. Its primary responsibility is moving water. So we carry people on it, we carry water, lots of hose. And so their primary responsibility is moving water from the source of a fire, water source, to the location of a fire, and then through water, through nozzles, as people typically think of what firefighters do. So this is one of our primary units here at headquarters. We have 4 pumpers in service in our spare total that serves our area in Washington. All right, behind me is our ladder truck. It's a ladder platform, actually. It's a 2007. I'm very partial to it, and the guys will tell you that too. I wrote the specs for it and was on the committee that purchased this truck. It's a 85-foot elevating platform. It has a ladder all the way to the bucket, and it has a 2,000 GPM waterway, gallons per minute waterway. Much like the engine, it also has a pump. The primary purpose for the pump is actually to move the water up into the aerial, just to overcome elevation loss of the water movement. It's considered a hook and ladder. If you're ever in the city of St. Louis, they have hook and ladders. This is equivalent to a hook and ladder. It carries all the equipment that an engine would carry, but it also carries all of the equipment that a hook and ladder would carry, and that's basically hooks for overhauling and ladders. So the truck carries a little over 170 feet of ground ladders, so the whole back of the truck is full of ground ladders. There's ground ladders on the side of the boom. It carries all the ventilation equipment, forcible entry equipment. So it's a true truck company in this form of ladder trucks. It's considered a truck company with the equipment, but it's also can do engine work. It does have some hose on it, nozzles, etc. So it's a crossover. They call it a quint. It has a pump, hose, tank, aerial ladder, and ground ladder, so it qualifies as a quintuple piece of apparatus. Roughly today's value is about $1 million to replace this truck. It's a phenomenal piece of machinery, and our crew, as you can see, takes really good care of this one as well as the others. All right, behind me here is our heavy rescue squad. What makes it a heavy rescue squad is the equipment it carries. The rescue crew is a very well-trained group of individuals, and they're cross-trained in our department as well. A lot of our guys are cross-trained, in fact. The heavy rescue carries automobile extrication equipment. That's what people typically think of when they think of this truck, is vehicle extrication, the jaws of life. And this truck has actually multiple sets of jaws. In addition to that, these guys are trained on confined space rescue, so if someone's in a manhole, in a vault, something like that, they have the training to get those folks out. This crew also has trench rescue training, so if a trench would collapse on someone, unfortunately, they have the training for the removal of building collapse. So there's equipment in here to actually stabilize the building, to make it safe to start looking for search and rescuing people of that. The rescue squad, their motto on the door there kind of shows that they are firefighters, but they also do the rescue as well as water rescue. So this crew has an ancillary assignment of water rescue, so anytime there's a call on the river, the rescue squad guys are ultimately responsible for the boat response and making sure our marine unit makes it out on the river, and with train operators as well. Phenomenal piece of equipment, gigantic toolbox is essentially what it is. It carries no real water, no real hose, but lots and lots of tools for a variety of jobs. Whatever it is, these guys can get into it and take it apart.
Thanks so much for that, Tim. I had no idea that these trucks were even different in their use. So I'm sure a lot of people found that extremely interesting. So again, thank you, Tim, and congratulations. You're one of our local heroes. So thanks very much. And again, it's Lisa Hendricks from parkbench.com.